Am I able to put a log on you?
Oh, absolutely. Here, sorry.
I'm just gonna stop this.
And I'll give you my name, and I'll let Liz give you her name. My name is Chris Lane, prosecutor. And then,
I'm Liz Swain, I'm the Chief Deputy Prosecutor.
Liz, you want to give a few statements at the end about the investigation part of this too? Just anything. Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, anything else? All right. Straighten up here. All right, these are mere allegations. I think I said that, but the defendant's considered innocent until or unless proven guilty in a court of law. I ask you to remember that. That's incredibly important. We're here today on the charges filed. I'll be referencing my notes here against Keith Lee Campbell. As I reminded, innocent until proven guilty. The affidavit, and I'll be confining all my statements to the affidavit, the PC, probable cause affidavit, is that on October 26, 2024, Mr. Campbell allegedly called 911, identifying that someone had been shot. There had been a shooting incident, and the person that had been shot was later identified as Christopher R. Proctor. According to PC, Mr. Proctor and the defendant had a personal relationship of about 11 months. That relationship, according to PC, had become strange. And on that date, Mr. Proctor had come to the residence twice. The first time, allegedly, to drop off some clothes, and the second time when this incident occurred, allegedly. During the second visit, it's alleged that Mr. Campbell armed himself with a .22 caliber bolt-action rifle. And the affidavit states that Mr. Campbell allegedly claimed to only be trying to scare the victim. According to the affidavit, the defendant allegedly waited approximately 2 hours before calling 911 and took steps allegedly to hide the victim after the victim had died. It's also alleged that Mr. Proctor hid the cell phone in his truck, allegedly because he was worried about the location being discovered. There were conflicting statements in the probable cause affidavit related to a sword being present. Initially, there was claims that allegedly the victim had a sword. New evidence changed those allegations such that there was no sword allegedly with the victim, and that was later put at the victim's body to make it seem that way. So based on that, we have charged Mr. Campbell with murder, voluntary manslaughter, obstruction of justice, and a firearm enhancement. And I remind you that the defendant is innocent until proven guilty or unless proven guilty. Court of law, these are mere allegations. So I'll be happy to take questions on this particular one. I can find everything to the information and the probable cause.
Were these two, had you been involved with either one of them in the past? Had there been police called to either one of their houses?
Won't comment specifically on that, but I would say that we had no information that this would happen. Let's leave it that way. But no, not on this particular incident or these particular people.
And when state police said that the guy had a sword and they didn't find a sword out there, how did that become part of this press release and part of the information?
Well, I want to say allegedly there was a sword found at the scene, but there was contradictory statements as to when that sword was with the victim. And so in the probable cause, you'll notice that initially there was statements made that the sword was on the victim. Later on, there was information that allegedly happened that it was placed there later and then told during the investigation that the victim had it initially.
Did the investigators determine that it had been placed there, or were they told that it had been placed there?
According to PC, they determined through the evidence they brought in that it had been placed there later.
When did they discover the cell phone?
When they were on scene, they discovered that there was a cell phone in the truck bed. It was a truck bed. Allegedly, they found it there.
ISP yesterday said that based off, they kind of gave the play out, like he grabbed the gun, went to the door, he had a sword, he fell backward from where he was shot, and that's where he was found on the ground. You said he made efforts to hide the victim's body. how did they make that determination that they tried to conceal it?
So in any investigation, what happens is you have your initial report, and that's why we usually don't comment. So we don't comment initially, but it's evolving, right? And as information's coming in, that investigation will change. And so that's why we generally don't. So new information came, so that initial statement had what they believe was occurring allegedly, but then the new information changes that. And so based on new information, we made charges based off that.
It seems like he was placed in the yard there.
I would refer you to the probable cause affidavit as being the best, but they found the body at a location in the defendant's backyard, yes.
How many times did he fire that rifle?
Allegedly, I'll refer you to the probable cause. Allegedly, the victim was hit one time. I'll put it to you that way. The victim was hit one time. There may have been a second shot fired. I believe there was, but the allegations are that the victim was only hit one time, and I think allegedly 2 shots were fired total.
I know you mentioned that he made efforts to conceal the body. Was it still found in the front yard or backyard?
I believe it was found in the backyard allegedly. At that point, allegedly there had been a 911 call made, so the police did arrive on scene and found a body in the backyard allegedly.
I don't have access to the probable cause. It took him 2 hours to call 911. What do you say?
I would refer you to the probable cause affidavit for any of that, but what I would say is that our information is based on the information that was gathered at the scene. And that went into our charging decision, that 2-hour alleged discrepancy between the incident and the call.
Why is it both a voluntary manslaughter and murder charge?
Well, if you'll notice in the probable cause affidavit, we had what was considered 11-month, allegedly an 11-month personal relationship between the two. And if you notice throughout, you'll see there's allegations of frustration and other things. And so voluntary manslaughter has a component of sudden heat. And so we put that in there because we always try to match the law to the facts as we have them, the evidence. And so in this particular case, we saw that the law meets multiple crimes in our estimation. So we alleged murder and we alleged voluntary manslaughter. And we do that sometimes when we have information that could lead to both of those. Any other questions on
Has
this?
Campbell been cooperating with police? Has he admitted to everything that has transpired?
I can't comment on that. Any others on this particular subject?
Let's move on to the next subject.
Ready?
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right. Now I want to turn your attention. There have been many questions about the Harvest Homecoming shooting. It is a continuing investigation, so I will not make a comment specifically on that investigation. Here's what I will say, and here's what I do ask. I'm reaching out to the community today. There are people in our community that we believe have information about this. I don't know why, and I can't say why for sure these people are choosing not to come forward. I can say this. We ask you to come forward. We ask you to do the right thing. We ask you to give us that information. Here's why. You may see today as just a day. But on that day when that shooting happened, the lives of 3 families were changed forever. We have an innocent person who was killed. We have 2 innocent people that were shot. Their days, their families changed forever. You're going to look back someday, if you have this information, chose not to come forward, you're going to look back and you're going to remember this day, I believe. I believe you well. When you could have made a difference for these people, this community that is struggling under the weight of this, you could have made a difference in these people's lives. We have anonymous tip lines. I can give you those numbers and I will. But we're asking you to come forward, do the right thing, help your fellow person in this community by doing the right thing and bringing this information forward. That would be my ask of all of you in our community. If you have any information, please bring that forward. And I'm going to give you the numbers, and I'm sure I would ask that they be on the screen. It's the Albany Police Department anonymous tip line, 812-948-NAPD. 812-948-NAPD. If you have any information, please bring that forward. And I'll turn to Liz just real quick to make any other statements on that.
Thank you. I'm not going to make any specific comments on the investigation other than to say the New Albany Police Department has done a tremendous job putting all of their resources into this investigation, including their detectives. In addition to that, we have had the resources of the FBI, the ATF, the Floyd County Sheriff's Department, the U.S. Marshals, the Louisville Metro Police Department, and the Jeffersonville Police Department all offered and all used in this investigation. And all of those agencies will continue to work tirelessly until we get where we need to be on this case. And we want to commend them and thank them for their commitment to this community.
You detained 2 people. Are you going to release their names or have they been charged yet?
No, we will not be releasing names. No charges have been filed at this time. And again, that goes to the concept of the investigation. When that charge happens, it will be made public record, and that'll be your opportunity to examine the public records.
Of the 6 search warrants, did the 2 that were detained, were they detained here in New Albany, Louisville?
I don't want to go too much into that. I will say that we did execute 6 search warrants yesterday, and it did bear what we believe is crucial evidence that moves this investigation forward. We're not going to stop until we find the people that perpetrated this and hold them accountable for what they did to the people, the innocent people in our community. We will not stop. We will not rest. We're going to find them and we're going to hold them accountable under the law. Any other questions?
The press release mentioned one person who was detained was directly connected to the case. Are you able to clarify, like, so was the other person, why the other person was not connected, or explain what exactly the connection is there?
I think you'll see that there'll be charges coming in the coming days that'll make that more public, but I won't make any comments at this time. And I understand your desire to know and desire to spread that, but I just can't at this time because it's an evolving investigation. We're going to continue to follow all the leads until we find out who we believe did this and make charges in that case.
Do you feel like you have the only 2 or the last 2, or are there others that you're looking for?
No, we believe there are others involved in this. Absolutely.
How many?
I can't go into that, but we believe others are involved. And that's, again, why I'm asking the public to come forward. If you have information, please share it. Please share it.
The weapons recovered, is there any indication that they were involved in?
Can't comment on that. And I appreciate I really want you to know I appreciate those questions. I just can't comment on that. So fine to ask a question, though. I appreciate that. Any others? We'll keep you updated as this unfolds. I promise you that. So thank you so much for coming today. Thank you, Liz. Any other comments?
I omitted one agency earlier, so I'm going to state again what I stated earlier, that the New Albany Police Department has done a tremendous job in this investigation and pooling all of its resources, including the detectives and everyone else from the top down. In addition, the Indiana State Police, the ATF, FBI, U.S. Marshals, Floyd County Sheriff's Department, the Jeffersonville Police Department, and Louisville Metro Police Department have all offered and given their help and their resources in this investigation. And they will continue to commit themselves to this investigation until this is resolved.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. And I appreciate that. We'll keep you updated in the coming days.
Liz?
Stigden, it's STIKDO, Stigden.
The probable cause affidavit, can you give us a copy?
I think we have copies we can hand out.
Oh, if you have
Probably
it,
correct.
that'll be perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I know some people came in late. We'll do the truncated version?
Yes,
Is that okay?
thank you.
Yeah.